Imagine living in a world where some of the darkest crimes remain without answers, where victims vanish without a trace, and killers walk free in the shadows of history. In this episode of Beyond Logic, we dive into 10 of the most mysterious and solved crimes in history, stories that will chill your bones and challenge your sense of justice. 1. The Isdal woman, Norway, 1970. In the ice hills of Bergen, Norway, hikers stumbled upon a disturbing scene. A woman's burnt body lying among her charred belongings. But what truly puzzled investigators was what came next. All labels on her clothes were removed. Her face was too burnt to recognize. And her fingerprints had been erased. She carried wigs, coded notes, and a series of forged passports. The investigation uncovered a trail that led to several European cities. Was she a spy? A fugitive? To this day, no one knows who she was or who wanted her dead. 2. The Dyatlov Pass incident, Russia, 1959. Experienced Soviet hikers set out for a winter trek in the Ural Mountains but never returned. Their tent was found slashed from the inside, scattered belongings left behind. The bodies were discovered under strange circumstances. Some were barefoot in the snow, others had severe internal injuries with no external wounds. One had her tongue missing. Traces of radiation were found on their clothes. Theories range from military experiments and secret weapons to Yeti attacks and supernatural forces, but none have been proven. 3. The disappearance of Madeleine, McCann, Portugal, 2007. It was a peaceful evening in the coastal town of Praia de Ilhas, while her parents dined with friends just meters away. 3-year-old Madeleine McCann vanished from her holiday apartment. The window was open, the shutters tampered with, but there were no signs of forced entry. International media frenzy followed. Suspects were interrogated, sightings reported from around the globe, yet no definitive answers have surfaced. What happened to Madeleine remains one of the greatest child disappearance mysteries in modern history. 4. The Hinterkaifeck murders, Germany, 1922. A remote Bavarian farmstead became the scene of horror when the entire Gruber family and their maid were found murdered, killed with a farming tool called a mattock. But the most chilling detail: evidence showed the killer stayed on the property for days afterward, feeding the animals and living in the house. Footsteps in the snow led to the farm, but none led away. Despite dozens of suspects, no one was ever charged. Some believe the killer was someone they knew, as someone who watched and waited. 5. The Zodiac Killer, USA, 1960. A mysterious serial killer who operated in Northern California. The Zodiac taunted police and media with cryptic letters, ciphers, and phone calls. He claimed responsibility for 37 murders. Though only 5 have been confirmed, some of his encrypted messages remain unsolved to this day. He targeted couples, left clues, then vanished. Even with modern DNA testing and new suspects, the Zodiac's true identity remains a haunting mystery. 6. The Tamam Shud case, Australia, 1948. On Somerton Beach, a man was found dead, sitting against a seawall, dressed neatly in a suit with no ID. In his pocket, a scrap of paper with the words Tamam Shud, Persian for ended or finished. Hidden in a nearby car was a rare book containing a cipher and a phone number that led nowhere. Multiple theories have been proposed: poisoning, espionage, suicide, or secret affairs. None hold up. Over 70 years later, his identity and cause of death are still unknown. 7. The Black Dahlia murder, USA, 1947. Elizabeth Short, later dubbed the Black Dahlia, was found brutally murdered in Los Angeles. Her body was cut in half, completely drained of blood, and posed grotesquely in a vacant lot. The nature of the injuries suggested medical expertise. The media sensationalized the case, and the LAPD was flooded with false confessions and tips. Despite extensive investigation and numerous suspects, the murder was never solved, leaving behind a legacy of fear and fascination. 8. The Boy in the Box, USA, 1957. In a cardboard box in Philadelphia, the body of a young boy 6 years old was discovered, despite publishing photos of him post-mortem in newspapers. No family came forward. He had been beaten, malnourished, and recently bathed. Theories ranged from a legal adoption to a family cover-up. Known for decades only as America's unknown child, he was finally identified in 2022 through DNA testing, but his killer remains unknown. 9. The vanishing of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 2014 with 239 passengers aboard. The Boeing 777 disappeared en route from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. Communication was lost shortly after takeoff. Despite international efforts across vast stretches of ocean, only scattered debris was recovered. Black box signals were detected, then lost. Some believe in mechanical failure or hijacking. Others in military interference or deliberate action. The plane's final moments and the fate of its passengers remain one of aviation's greatest mysteries. 10. The Hall Mills Murder Case. USA, 1922. In New Brunswick, New Jersey, a priest and a choir singer were found murdered in a lover's lane. The scene was staged, her throat cut, his head nearly severed, their love letters strewn between them. The scandal shocked the nation. Accusations swirled around the priest's wife and her brothers, but they were acquitted. The trial became a media circus, full of gossip and courtroom drama. Yet the question remains, who really committed the murders and why? These aren't just headlines. These are shattered lives, stories frozen in time, and clues that lead nowhere. They're riddles that defy logic. Even decades later, if you were to solve one of these mysteries, which would it be? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell because the truth is out there, and we're going beyond logic to find it.